it is. And once you start to get into it a little bit, you realize how much is really going on with traditional jazz. And you've covered a lot of that stuff. So unfortunately, that means I'm going to have to get a little bit nitpickier with you guys. So don't misunderstand what if I'm critiquing something. You guys just absolutely smoked it. So it was a great performance. But, so one of the first things I want to talk about is balance. It seems to be that a lot of the groups that are coming in, and I think what happens is when you get on stage, your adrenaline kind of gets pumped up, and it takes away some of your accuracy with a lot of different things, notes, technique, and a lot of times you stop focusing on what's going on around you, and that still happens to me even when I get on stage. It's like I'm so focused on trying to play the right thing or do, then I'm missing out on some stuff. But obviously this music is about communication, it's about listening to each other, which you're doing a great job of doing. But sometimes you overplay when you get nervous and you want to play the right notes and you're really digging in. And so just be aware of balance, and if you're not playing the melody, then you have to hear the melody, and if you can't hear the melody, then you're playing too loud. In the case of the rhythm section, the guitar being the only instrument that's actually amplified and plugged in, you're kind of in a unique position because you have a volume knob. Everybody else has to either play their instruments harder or softer to change their volume. You can just turn the dial and you can go up and down. So it's hard for you to hear what's coming out, what we hear out here. But your guitar was kind of heavy at the beginning, and I think if you would backed off where the drums were, there were some time things going on that the rhythm section kind of, it got a little dicey in there where certain things were landing, and I think if you would have backed off a little bit, that would have solved that problem. So just got to be very conscious of primarily where the hi-hat is. That hi-hat is your metronome. And that being said, I could use more hi-hat throughout the whole performance. Make that really, really solid. I think a lot of time issues will go away if you just play less or play not so loud. You can dig in, which means you can turn your volume down and hit the guitar harder, but we don't need to hear more of it as much as we need to hear the rhythmic pulse of it. Does that make sense? Okay. Also, watch your tone. It's kind of bottom heavy, and that was overpowering the horns. So I heard the chords you were playing, but it was a lot of the low end. Maybe what you want to do is focus more on like your top 4 strings, like a banjo almost. Just try playing chords on just the top 4 strings, just as an experiment. You don't have to do it all the time, but I think that will lighten it up, because that almost sounded like a bass drum, because I could hear boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? So that's a tonal issue and it's a volume issue. So again, it's unique to you because you have that big, powerful amplifier back there that's all your own. And these guys are just either playing into mics or not. So if they can't hear themselves, then they just have to play louder. So, that's a problem that you can fix very simply. So, again, the balance for the drums, I could have used more hi-hat and more pulse. And don't be afraid to lay on that cymbal, that hi-hat. Honeysuckle Rose sounded great vocal. When you're playing just the melody, it's just the horns, just play the melody. I know you were dancing around a little bit, but I think they were trying to figure out what you were doing with the melody, and they're trying to follow you. So find one way to play it and be consistent. And I think then they'll start to latch onto that and actually maybe pick some harmonies, because these guys got some good ears. So that's great. And that's another song that felt like the time was, it sounded like you were And I know you weren't, but it sounded like you were kind of, your attention was going elsewhere. So it felt to me like the time was kind of, you know, even though it wasn't really dragging, it has the illusion of dragging. So you want it to almost feel like you're falling forward, so it just kind of goes right along. And you know what I'm talking about, right? That feeling of the drive, right? So everybody has to really be focused on, just got to keep propelling forward. I love the tag, by the way. Did you guys come up with that yourself?
With a little help from our
Okay, well, that's great. Fantastic. And those are really cool things when you create arrangements on your own like that. That's a lot of fun. And then on Moonlight, again, the balance of the rhythm section, I think would have just solved all of your time issues on that. The only other thing is on the hits, bunch, bunch, bunch. You could either keep the hi-hat going, or there's got to be something, because that was the only time when there was no time going on that it felt like some people weren't really sure. So there's a way to solve that. As a matter of fact, how much time do I have? Oh, I got 10 minutes. All right, let's dig into this one a little bit. Let's take it from the vocal of Moonlight.
You also well, we might not get that far, but I just want to hear kind of like the ends of the phrases and then. One, two, three, four.
What am I to do?
Alright, you guys aren't locked in. Are you playing quarter notes on every beat? Bump, 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 bump? Or are you going bump, 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 bump? Okay, back up, just do it 2 and 4 for now. Just to, you know, if you're losing the hi-hat, then just try 2 and 4 and see if that helps. Okay? And are you playing up on the upper string? Or do you know chords up there? Or just don't play the lowest bottom 3 strings or 2 strings. You can. If you've got something that you can play. Otherwise, just mute the strings and just play rhythm. Okay? So no actual chords are coming up, but you're still making a sound. Okay? Let's try again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
What am I to do? What am I to do to you? You're in love, you hurt the fire and all day long. You only started with your tongue. Just cannot utter the words I love you.
Okay, that's a little better. I'm still feeling like you're not really sure where you're not with the hi-hat. And also, you're being a little bit more rhythmically distant. So maybe for the vocal, just bump, bump, kind of like what the guitar is doing. 2 and 4. I'll try that. Let's see if that helps a little bit. There's another. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ooh, what am I to do? You, what am I to do to you? You're in love, you hurt the flutter and all day long. You want me stutter 'cause you're drunk. Cannot utter the words I love you.
better? But I don't need it.
Yeah, I think they did. That sounded better to me. Yeah. Didn't it? Excellent. So those are the really subtle things that you have to think about when you're, if you're going along and something doesn't feel right. The first thing you should do is maybe pull back a little bit and go, okay, I got to figure out what's going on, instead of just plowing through and just continue to play. Even if your part is important, because if something's wrong, you can't just keep plowing through it as if it's not, if there's nothing wrong. So again, that is a hearing issue and a communication issue, and it's just kind of using your intuition and going, all right, this doesn't feel right. And then if you lay out, and then somebody notices that you're laying out, then they realize that something's wrong. So you can communicate just by laying out. You don't have to say anything, but just looking around, being just a little, get your awareness a little further out. But you got the notes, you got the technique, you guys got great time, you got the form down, you know where you're supposed to be. So the higher you get in this game, the harder it gets to get to the next level. So you guys are all doing a great job. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Hey, Lamau. Well, I'm an 8th grader, you're a 7th grader. So next year, you're going to be... Jesus. I'll be there.
Okay.
I'd say I was at the All-State. I'll try my
They said try it without the words. I was like, okay. Yeah, alright. Why are you complaining? That's like the skinny girl that has bad. You sounded good, kid. You did too. I like the two the notes. The